So 2 days ago, I decided to dissolve all of my lip filler, and it was pretty gnarly.
Over the past 2 years, there's been a significant change in what is considered a desirable facial aesthetic. Celebrities and influencers alike are coming out and saying you have to dissolve your hyaluronic acid dermal fillers because the overly inflated cheek and the overly plump lip are out in favor of a much more natural look. So I guess 15 years ago when I made my website and I put "natural is always in style" across the headline, little did I know I was going to be a trendsetter. Hi, I'm Dr. Messina, and today we're going to be discussing how you would go about dissolving your hyaluronic acid dermal fillers. And there's a lot you should think about before you embark on a journey like this, because there are some consequences that really aren't talked about that much. So watch this video until the end. The overuse of hyaluronic acid dermal fillers led to a very unnatural looking appearance in many people. Now, hyaluronic acid dermal fillers was safe because we have hyaluronic acid in our cells. Therefore, to have an allergic reaction to a dermal filler was extremely rare. You could dissolve them with hyaluronidase, which is what is being done now globally. However, there are things to think about. First, who should you go to? The best thing would be to go to the person who injected you for a few reasons. First, they know what they injected, and second, they know where they injected it. Therefore, you could inject this hyaluronidase into the right area, wasting as little as possible. Because it does have some side effects, it is going to dissolve the hyaluronic acid in the dermal filler, as well as your natural hyaluronic acid. So if you could avoid injecting it into a spot that doesn't have any filler, you're better off. So going back to the person who injected you is always the best. Next, you have to consider, is the dermal filler you took going to be susceptible to hyaluronidase? There are a few that aren't. Artifil will not dissolve. Radius will not dissolve, nor would Sculptura. The ones that are susceptible to hyaluronidase are the hyaluronic acid dermal fillers. So the Juvederm family, Revaneese family, and the Restylane family. But that being said, there are two that might be resistant, and that's Voluma and Restylane Lift. Voluma and Lift both have a chemical structure that might make it a little bit more resistant to hyaluronidase. The next thing we have to consider the allergic potential to hyaluronidase. Unlike hyaluronic acid, people can be allergic to hyaluronidase, so a skin test should be performed. Hyaluronidase ideally is used to treat emergency situations, an arterial or a venous occlusion, or an obstruction of drainage, such as we could see in the tear trough area. But here we're using it to resolve a cosmetic purpose that's something you just don't like. So you should do a skin test because they're going to flood the area with hyaluronidase. And if you're allergic to it, you could run into problems. So the simple skin test, waiting 15 minutes to a half hour to see if anything happens, should be considered. The next thing we have to consider the adverse outcomes on the skin. If you look at people who've posted videos on their experience in reversing their dermal fillers, you're going to see people that said they developed a dent or they had unevenness in the resolution of the hyaluronic acid. Some had skin sag, which we could expect if you were truly overly inflated and then suddenly took out that substance causing the inflation over a 20-minute period, you might have some skin sag. Some people complained of intense nerve pain, excruciating nerve pain that bothered them day and night.
My body was near convulsing. My head felt like it was in a vice, in a grip. My jaw was aching.
I don't think it's ever been identified as to why that happened. I have my own theory as a physician that it's possible that you dissolve some of the hyaluronic acid around the myelin sheaths of some of your nerves and you developed neuropathic pain. Anyone who has had shingles knows how bad neuropathic pain could be. That's something to consider. that it's not always going to be a smooth dissolving of your dermal fillers. The next thing to think about is, do you really want to dissolve this quickly? If you have a very large cheek or significantly overinflated lips, these dermal fillers are going to dissolve in time. Yes, the cheek might take between 1 and 2 years to dissolve and become your natural looking cheek again. The lips are going to take significantly less time. But you have to consider what's going to happen to the skin. If you are truly overinflated and then you use your hyaluronidase to dissolve that exact substance causing that overinflation, now you might have some skin sag at the cheek level and at the lip level. Just like losing weight, you could lose 40 pounds and your skin will snap back. You start to lose 100 pounds very quickly, you're going to develop a little bit of sag. Same type thing here. And the last thing is the cost. These little vials are expensive. In New York, I pay approximately $180 for this vial, which means it's going to cost you to dissolve your hyaluronic acid dermal filler. So you consider that as well. Do you want to just let time take its course and let these hyaluronic acid fillers dissolve on their own? Or do you want to take the course of dissolving them very quickly with hyaluronidase? I hope you're thinking strongly about these points that I just brought up, because it could significantly impact you. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed this. Remember, if you did, click the bell, give me a thumbs up, and remember, I'll catch you at the next video. Take care.